You know for a fact that Mr. Matlala
get identified and get arrested. But the ones for these people, they will not ever get a chance to shoot back. I don't say they must shoot back. I'm just saying there's never evidence to know where these criminals comes from, because they get killed before you get whoever who's sending them or the big people behind them.
Yeah, but sorry, Honorable Maria, but you, in paragraph 37, you are making a series of events that you conducted Minister Mthwetwa, former Minister Mthwetwa, who died under suspicious circumstances. Then the following paragraph is the one that says you have learned that suspects of General Mkhwanazi do not make it out alive.
Yes.
And you'll recall that you just recently you made an allegation of General Mkhwanazi having worked for the CIA.
Yes.
So what is the relationship between these statements?
No, Minister Mthwetwa was not General Mkhwanazi's suspect. He was never his suspect, and the suspicious circumstances I was referring to, even here in Cape Town, from second floor or the third floor, it's impossible to open that window with a scissor. They are very strong. I was just talking my own view as how is it possible to break. It's unlike this one in the hall. If you go in hotels, you can check, you can never open that glass and fall from there. It was my thinking, I'm still thinking the same. But it has nothing to do with General Mkhwanazi thing. It's just that, because again, I was referring to his suspects, or the suspects mostly based in the KZN who usually get into fight with the police.
And also, maybe just to go a little bit back, I think I skipped a very important part of your statement, which is from paragraph 31 onwards, paragraph 31 and paragraph 32. You referred to Mr. Matlala's engagement with General Mkhwanazi. And you say that Mr. Matlala reminded you just prior to when General Mkhwanazi had his press statement, or press conference, Mr. Matlala reminded you that he previously made reference to traveling to Durban in order to meet a person who could solve all his difficulties. Do you want to explain what difficulties Mr. Matlala had and talk about the alleged meeting between himself and General Mkhwanazi?
Thank you, Chair. Usually when you know a person, you will not know all his problems. And he'll probably say, hey, I have problems. But the day he says, you know, there is this important person in the KZN and this meeting that I have to attend, and should that meeting materializes, I think my problems will be solved. That's what happened. And there's the same evidence that I led that then I had to, because he mentioned the date, when I drove to Durban and waited and all those things, and followed them to the place in Umhlanga. It is unfortunate that in Madlanga, one of commissioners said General Mkhwanazi never said he's staying in Umhlanga. But my investigation was based on following the man and see where he goes, and that place was Umhlanga. It was in Umhlanga. Now, the most important thing out of that meeting is I did not see who the person was, who did he meet. And after some time, after he got arrested, there was a press conference of General Mkhwanazi. As he was speaking from the prison cell, from his phone, the same day after the press conference, he did mention that, you know, my brother, do you remember the day when I told you I went to KZN? I actually went to meet General Mkhwanazi. And I still maintain that given the period of time General Mkhwanazi had when addressing the media, I believe he was supposed to take the country to confidence that I also met with Ket Matlala. And during the press conference again, he did say there was a meeting arranged by Minister Senzo Mchunu, National Commissioner, General Sibiya and himself. And towards, in conclusion to what you were saying, he did say he will never have a meeting with a criminal. Now, to my surprise, the alleged member of the Big Five sat with him, corroborated by Major General Senona, who said he was just busy taking some drinks. It shows the environment where they were sitting. They could even have drinks together. But he never took the country to confidence that actually I was with Ket Matlala.
What were you doing in Durban at the time?
No, I traveled specifically because Ket did mention he was going to meet someone important. I actually thought it was Becky Kelly.
What were you trying to achieve? What were you? You traveled because Ket said he was going to Durban to meet someone, and what was it to you to know?
Yes, if you check now, part of the task when dealing with Ket, it included to know who is he working with, who is he meeting is important. Yes.
And then he also told you that he gave General Mkhwanazi money.
No, I just said I gave him something, and I did try to explain to evidence leader that he said he gave him something on the phone when he was talking to me.
Okay. And then further on, you allege that
Okay, can you pause there, Advocate Maria, on Malema?
So, thanks, Chair. When you say he says he doesn't meet criminals following the meeting of him, Sibiya, Minister, and Commissioner, but he doesn't take the country into confidence that he met Matlala and General Senona, are you implying that Matlala is a criminal in your own words?
It's derived from what he said. He has linked him to be one of the Big Five.
No, let's leave with what he said. You're saying because he met Matlala, after he told the country that doesn't meet criminals, he meets Matlala and he doesn't keep quiet. He should have told us that he met a criminal, Matlala, himself. So are you regarding Matlala as a criminal?
No, I'm not regarding him as a criminal.
So why is that important? Why should you tell us about a meeting of a general, himself, Matlala and himself?
If meeting the minister and two generals, the third one being himself, has one criminal amongst them, it definitely will apply when he meets the person who is alleged to be a Big Five. And not just someone who steals milk or whatever. He's accused of being a member of the Big Five.
Yeah, but also, Mr. Mogotsi, when we say General Mkhwanazi said he can have a meeting with the criminal, are you referring to the media briefing of the 6th of July?
That's correct.
Didn't he say the minister arranged a meeting between himself and General Sibiya to try and pursue peace between them? And he later said there can never be peace between a police officer and a criminal.
That's correct.
Then where do you get the meeting with the criminal thingy?
Yeah, the peace was spoken in the meeting they met.
No, I'm saying, you're saying he said he will never meet with a criminal. But if it refers to the press briefing that all of us have a statement now,
Yes.
He didn't say he will never meet with a criminal. He said there can be a peace between a police officer and a criminal, and referring to a meeting between him, the Minister Mchunu, and General Sibiya.
Yeah, and there you are correct. I may have.
So do you agree that you are quoting all this out of context?
That's what I believed. That and it's important the distinction what you are drawing now. It shows that peace and meeting is not the same.
No, but
You're
you are
correct.
saying, you are referring to a meeting with, between General Mkhwanazi and Mr. Ket Matlala.
Yes.
And you are referring to what General Mkhwanazi said in the press briefing.
Yes, that's
Which are
right.
two complete different things, because General Mkhwanazi was simply speaking about a
peace.
meeting arranged by Minister Mkhunu.
Yes.
So do you agree that you have quoted all this out of context?
Yes, maybe I should put it this way. If he feels he cannot have peace with criminals, referring to one, either Minister Senzo or General Sibiya, it means one of them, he cannot make peace with them. And in this case, probably it was General Sibiya. So if it means General Sibiya, unless we say General Sibiya can be more criminal than what he alleges about Ket.
Honorable Malem?
No, Mr. Mogotsi, we are now agreeing. We shouldn't, there must not be a disagreement. We should all agree that he has never made a commitment never to meet a criminal. He made a commitment never to meet peace with a criminal.
I agree.
Thank you.
Allocate Maria, proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Mogotsi, I then would like to move on to, you deal with, in paragraph 32, with your meeting, with the calls that you received from Mr. Matlala. Now, later in your statement, you deal with your relationships and interactions with Mr. Matlala, and I'd like to come back to that paragraph 32 when we deal with Mr. Matlala later on in your statement. In paragraph 39, you refer to General Mkhwanazi and Minister Becky Cele, and that they were involved in a tender that was awarded to Magma Security. And at this point, I just want to note that you've been saying in your statement that you've been conducting a number of operations in relation to General Mkhwanazi. And when you refer to these operations, you refer to, I've learned this and I've learned that. But it's not quite clear where this is going and how this investigation is going in relation to these different aspects that you seem to be learning about. Are there real investigations being conducted, and where's the information, the real sort of evidence that can corroborate these learnings that you've acquired through your investigations on General Mkhwanazi? But speak to us about paragraph 39 when you refer to this Magma Security. Was there an investigation conducted in relation to any irregularity about the security company, or is it just another learning curve?
Okay. Where I use the word I have learned, mostly I'm referring to the information that I have. And I also realized, I don't know if Chair will, in paragraph 39, sentence number 3, where I talk about Magma Security. There, remember we're doing this visual, I was saying may have conducted the downloading mirrors. May it be rectified, please. Yes, there's a company by the name of Magma in KZN. And there is, of course, a litigation and of another company that is fighting for the same tender in KZN about Magma. And I also learned that, remember, there is a device, a machine, and I can see it's not listed here. There are 3 companies which have this. It's called Cellbrite. This Cellbrite machine is the only machine which, when General Mkhwanazi was here saying to members, they can retrieve messages and see and whatever. So, with the information I have, in South African Police Service, Yotli, the entire, there's no one who's able to use that machine. There are 3 companies in possession of these machines, that is Magma and these other two companies. Now, because of the relationship MACMA has with General Mkhwanazi, that's where the suspicion is thrown that it was actually used to, even all these messages about Cat, Mamang and Mama, it is this company that has done that thing. Hence, I believe many messages which were not in favor of certain people were deleted. It's because of this machine, and MACMA has this machine.
But you have no proof of the allegations made in paragraph 39.
As I said, I'll give information, and the committees here, I did the same with Matlanga. Information I give, I must probably be told, bring us people to corroborate this, what you are saying, so that that corroboration can convert the information I have to the evidence.
In relation to these investigations that you've conducted, and that they would be able to come and corroborate. What are they currently doing with this
They are
information?
police. They are police officers.
No, but my question is, what are they currently doing with this with the information? Because these allegations are serious, and everybody's sitting on it, and you're saying you're learning from it. But what is happening in respect of these serious allegations that you're making?
Yeah, you see, there is something that probably I can quote. I was so happy to see it being mentioned by the chairperson of the committee about these mafias who are not dangerous but invincible because they are running government. It's a similar thing about cases which are open. The case that led to the arrest of Lieutenant General Kumalo, Lekalakala, Lushaba, and those generals, it was open 2 times. They could not be arrested. It was by luck that the matter was then, through a certain referral to IDEC, the matter was then investigated and they were arrested. You could still ask a question, if they were able to be arrested by IDEC, why were they not arrested when the matter was open in Cape Town or Soweto? It's because somebody must say yes. If I give you a proof that a property has been bought for 22 million, it's not in the name of the state. If it is on the name, probably it was changed. But there is a title deed that shows the name of the person whom the property was registered on. And this, where I'm sitting, is the last line of defense. I believe they can call whoever and say, here's the title deed. How did you buy this property on the name of this individual?
So you're saying in order for the committee to step in and deal, or rather you consider the committee the last avenue or the last...
100,000 instead of 250. The property of 22 million rand. The whatever information says there were 120 million, but I only mentioned the 22 million property evidence that was bought. Now, imagine I was with the evidence leader yourself yesterday, but we still cannot produce it here because it's classified. Now, I said, remember, I'm a layman. I cannot make statements, but if the committee feels to compel whoever, probably the NPA, probably whoever, and say, here's the information, why are you not acting? Probably something will happen.
Yeah, but there are also other serious allegations you make. The properties aside, you're saying that there are cases that are not being furthered, there are cases that are being opened but not prosecuted, or they're not allowing cases to be opened. And it seems that that information should be readily available, especially the ones that you've mentioned here in your statement.
Yeah, but remember, that is classified information. Probably if the committee could summon the IGI or have access to the IGI report in whichever way that is allowed in terms of the law, then we will not talk about those things. Everything is there.
Then in paragraph 40, Again, you mentioned one of your investigations that you've done into General Mkhwanazi, and this is one where you say he refused to open up a case against a correctional officer. There were operations that you participated in, or it's just something that you've heard about through the grapevine?
No, I remember it's me who spoke to General Mkhwanazi. And when he appeared here, at least he had his phone. Our phones are not in our possession. In his phone, he was able to produce my communication with himself, where I sent him a proof of the OB entry from Mbangeni police station. The case was open. The officer could not be arrested because he intervened. And on his response, he did explain to me exactly what happened and why he felt the officer should not be arrested, and that the drugs were found in the rubbish bin outside. But this is not the only case which was open. I did mention a matter of Rustenburg, where there were Zamazamas and people with unlicensed firearms. There were some shooting 2 days before information came. And because this thing works in Rustenburg, that's when we brought in the tactical management operations, TOMS, operation management system for the DPCI. And they came there, they had to sit somewhere, and at a particular period, Chairperson, they went into the place, they found my security officers wearing black uniform, having their firearms also. They demanded each and everyone to see the permits, to see the licenses. Security officers produced, and they let them, they gave them back their ammunition, then they went to take cover again. At the right time, from the information that was provided, those guys came. And the police arrived, they pointed those people, is in the exhibit. They were all lying on the floor. The pictures of rifles were there and the firearms. The case number was open. The people were detained. They were given rights. All the firearms were put in the SAP 13. That's when the problem started now. Receiving a call from General Mboto, he was still a Major General, talking to the arresting officer. Why are you detaining those people? Those people are officers. Arresting officer responding to him, no, General Mboto. We went there first. This is what we found, the firearms with permit with the security. These ones are not security officers. That's when, 20 minutes later, the former head of Hawks, General Libya, he also called the arresting officer on the same information. Arresting officer said, no, these are firearms, they don't belong to security company. But if I just conclude, then this is what happened. 2 days later, those people were released and they were given back all those rifles. Those rifles were never subjected to ballistic testing. We don't even know whether they were involved in any crime before or so forth, but they were released. I'm showing you that there was another operation which took place where people were arrested, but because of whoever makes decisions decided let them be released. It happened, just like in Mpumalanga, where the correctional officer was just let to go.
My question to you in relation to that investigation was whether this was an operation or something that you were actively involved in, or whether this is something that you've just heard about.
Yes.
It appears to be the same with both of these investigations that you're referring to, even the one that you just spoke to, where you said that General Mboto released people that were supposed to be arrested, and we will come back to it in your statement. But were you involved in that operation? Was it you? Were you part of it? Or is this just another thing that you've heard about?
No, it's not heard about. That one, I heard about it, I made calls, I was involved. I was not on the site. Remember, when we provide information, we cannot go to the scene in the shooting line and so forth. But in Bangeni, it was clear. There was a defeating end of justice, which case had to be open, and because General Mkhwanazi decided this correctional officer should not be arrested, and I spoke to him about that. That's when I sent him the OB entry from Mbangi.
As you'd note that when General Mkhwanazi appeared in front of the committee, and I think you've just mentioned it, he expressed concern that you appear to have this kind of information available, but you're not part of the police, and you deal with it in your statement, and you say that, well, the reason why General Mkhwanazi would think that I have dubious relationships with senior police officials is because he was not aware that I was a crime intelligence official.
Not
But-
official.
A crime intelligence agent, contact agent.
Okay, just a second. Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Mogotsi, I'm having difficulty in understanding who you actually are within SAPS. You are part of investigations. You reference in your statement as part of my investigation, as if though you were a police officer, a detective. You also say that you sent proof of an OB entry. An OB entry, that is the book in SAPS at the station, at the local station. How did you gain access to the OB book? Number one. Number two, you also say in your paragraph 40 that the correctional officer who was accused of being in possession of drugs, right? You are this detective within SAPS. The drugs wasn't found on the member. The drugs was found in the bin at the home. And this is why it was recorded in the OB book. So why are you saying that General Mkhwanazi refused to arrest someone that was not found in possession of drugs? There's a big difference when it comes to being in possession, dealing and trafficking in how it is recorded. And how did you gain access to the OB book? Who sent you that photo of the OB book with this recording? Because you are not a member of SAPS.
Thank you, Chairperson. It is unfortunate that this has happened, and I'm there. And it's going to happen in so many ways, and it's going to continue to happen, to have access to information by nature of what I told you I am. Now, it is true, you see, where I say we discovered he refused to arrest the correctional officer, indeed, that is the response which General Mkhwanazi has sent to me after I send him the OB. Now the question is to where do I get the OB? A network of sources, informant, for the coming period, I'll always say my source, my handler, because unless if the OB is fictitious, that we produce the fake OB, then it's a problem. But if it's an official OB, that comes from SAPS through me as an agent, it has happened. Unless, I don't know how to put it, but that's what happened.
Thank you so much, Chair. Are you aware of the National Instruction 2 of 2001 that basically governs what handlers and what agents are meant to do and how operations are meant to unfold? You are not supposed to be having information. You are supposed to be informing and providing information. Are you aware of the National Instruction? This isn't just done any which way. I've been listening to you the entire morning, speaking about rates, recruitment rates. There's no such thing. There's absolutely no such thing. We are governed here. We don't come here and we say this is how things work. You are recruiting people. People are working for you. It's like you are the SAPS member here. Your entire statement gives us the impression that you are a member of South African Police Service, which you are not. You are an informant. And you are governed by National Instruction 2 of 2001. It doesn't make sense, everything that you are telling us here all morning. My investigation, it is not your investigation. Speaking of your informants, there was a problem, there was a flat rate, there was a standard rate, there was a recruitment rate of 1,200 rand. No, there's no such thing. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Mr. Mkhwanazi.
The honorable member and myself, we are in two different worlds. I can show you, just that I cannot give you names, but I have 10 handlers who can corroborate how much informants have been paid, how many have decided to quit. It even happened in my hometown where they discovered more than 30 laptops and he was given 500 rand. He threw it to those police officers. It's I can hear it's referring me to a particular act of the law, which laymen like me will just work with his handler, get the information, work on that. And these informants are not recruited by me, Chairperson. You get to identify him, tell your handler. Your handler will probably even talk to another detective in another town about this information and say there is an informant that side. You get that there is an informant who's staying maybe in Langa, but he's not in good relationship with the police in Langa. A handler here will be able to get the station commissioner in Langa, talk to him without showing them this informant, and still operate and arrest the suspects. That is the point I'm trying to make.
Advocate Mkhwanazi, proceed.
Okay. And then just further, before we close on your investigations on General Mkhwanazi, we've seen throughout your statement, and you've given now your testimony on various investigations that you were trying to conduct in relation to General Mkhwanazi. And it appears from your statement that there was a build-up to something. Because if you look at, for instance, at paragraph 48 of your statement, it says, I wanted to create an impression that I was close to the minister, and you wanted to sort of get close, almost draw General Mkhwanazi's confidence and trust to execute a mandate. And what was this mandate that you're referring to?
Thank you, Chairperson. You see, maybe I should clarify that part of investigation. Collection of information, transferring of information, it can only exist through investigation. When we send someone to do something, either to a bar where people are drinking, that person go and sit there. He's there to investigate. He cannot just get sent and say, ladies and gentlemen, now I'm here. Now I want to know who's selling. He has to investigate. He has to identify the people that you sent him to go and look for. But let's get to my messages to General Mkhwanazi. The same thing with him. If I did not send him a message, probably we wouldn't be having this whole thing. Because my feeling that time and my intention was to get General Mkhwanazi. So it's page 39, eh?
I refer to paragraph 48 and I refer to 53.
Yes,
It's on page 14 and 15.
yeah. 48. Yes. First of all, by me sending message to General Mkhwanazi about the thing, was to get closer to him, was to start talking to him, and we did, we started talking. And can you imagine, like you said, Chairperson, the person I'm referring to is a provincial commissioner of the police. It's true. Now, unless you say this is a lie, we never spoke. Through my operations, I got to him, I started talking to him. Even before he had a press conference, I sent him a message after I information that he was going to have a press conference. When I said to him, congratulations, you're about to save the country. That's it, that's the information gathering.
But I'm not in the police, but I know that you wouldn't just randomly investigate something which is not aimed at something specific. If you conduct an investigation into somebody, it must be that you have certain suspicions, and through your investigations, you're trying to gather evidence or further information that can support the suspicion, and you build up your case throughout your investigations. But there are a number of investigations that you've done in relation to General Mkhwanazi. And then in paragraph 48 and 53, you tell us that you wanted to gain his confidence and you wanted to get closer to him to achieve what? And what was the nature of the investigation? What were you trying to further?
Let me answer that to Chair. You know, Lieutenant Khumalo, General Khumalo and General Mkhwanazi, they work together. And check paragraph 52. I sent him a message that he must be mindful that, and that he must check his standing with Lieutenant General Khumalo in an effect to elicit his response. And after sending him that message, he responded immediately. And because I had a picture of the crime intelligence session which was taking place elsewhere, I sent it to him. And he confirmed in the committee that indeed, this meeting took place of the crime intelligence. And it means this person was there or he was told by someone who was there. That's what he said. But he never stopped talking to me because I said, this is confidential, please keep it to yourself. We'll talk, something of that. It's a way how to get closer to a person.
In paragraph 53, you said you had a mandate.
Yes.
From your handler.
Yes.
What was that? What were you working towards?
Like I said now, if you are given tasks, and I come here and talk about all those tasks and say, no, we wanted to know how people, or how people got promoted, or how people got, there are so many things that are happening, including the case at end, a lot, that I have requested, and I'm still repeating that the committee, they will, in terms of the law, I don't know those procedures, to get me to write together with an attorney, either to the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence, to submit the names and all these things that can corroborate this information. Let me give you give an example of what happened to me in Madlanga. In Madlanga, I gave the same information similar to what I'm giving. It was not done like this, where you interrogate the evidence that I gave. They asked me about my ID number. And they asked me about the matter which I